Real people, real celebrities, real talk.
Join the Breakfast Club.
Blast off in your ear.
Weekday morning, 6 to 10.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ MV Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest with us this morning.
Yes.
Mr. Mathew Knowles.
Good morning.
Good morning,
What's
bro.
happening, brother? How you doing?
First of all, I want to applaud you, Mr. Knowles, because your sperm produced one of the greatest talents the world has ever seen.
Absolutely.
Miss Beyonce Knowles.
Well, you know, I don't know how to take that, but we'll say yes to that.
Yes. Did you feel it did you feel it when it happened? Like this one gonna be special?
Yeah, it was special, man.
Word.
It's kind of like your hat, special.
Word.
Kind of like you, special.
Now let's start from the beginning now.
Is this boy always the special?
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
yes,
always
sir.
a special.
Well, I'm-
Sometimes worse.
He's the special one. We always got one. He's the one, right?
I'm the one.
He is the one.
I had to look him in his eyes to see was he crazy, but he's all right.
Yeah, he's no crazy.
This is a Rock Nation hat too, by the way.
Well, God bless you.
Yeah.
Let's
Rock
start
it
from the
there.
beginning. Beyonce, of course, growing up, you knew she was special. What made
I don't know if you
decide-
think all your kids are special, though.
But she had, there's kids that you.
Is that kind of like when they say they're all beautiful and pretty?
yeah, all your kids are
They so
beautiful to
pretty.
you.
Yeah.
But they all not really.
Yeah, but
There's
some of
just
them do grow up
that
to be
one
ugly as
special
hell.
one that you knew.
Yeah.
So what made you decide to start Destiny's Child, and how did you start Destiny's Child?
Well, you know, I was in corporate America, and I was working diagnostic imaging and managed care, as we know it today. It hit, and it affected me because cost, and what I sold was very expensive, and so I had to change professions because I wasn't passionate about selling costs. I was passionate about selling quality. And I started looking deep inside, what was it that I was passionate about? What did I really, really love? Music is one of those. Grew around music, always loved music. And Beyonce at the time was a kid. She was 11, 12 years old. And there was this little group called Girls Time, and they were trying and doing their things. I was a dad. I surrounded her with all the things, vocal coaches, dancing, but I wasn't really in it.
Right.
So I made a decision, a conscious decision, to get into the music industry. And you guys can appreciate this. The first artist that I signed was Lil O
Who's that?
in Houston.
Oh, Lil O in Houston. Okay.
That was signed to MCA Records. I signed him to MCA Records.
I don't remember him.
Was that Back? Was that?
No, his first album was, I can't remember the name of it.
So having no history in the music industry, you just said, I'm going to jump in the music industry, I'm going to sign an artist and put him out.
Well, I did have some history. I went back to school. I took some classes in the music industry. I went to over 25 seminars in the music industry. I don't believe you just jump into something. I think you have to have strategic planning.
Right.
And you have to transition into it. So I did those things. I took music management. I took music production. I went to those seminars. And then I came up with my strategy and business plan of how I would approach the music industry.
That's interesting because, a lot of people go to those seminars and stuff, and I always be like, man, you can't learn nothing at those seminars. You actually went and learned how to be a
I learned a lot.
mogul.
I
Yeah.
learned a lot because I asked a lot of questions. And more importantly, I networked, which is the key part about seminars, is the ability to meet other people who can really help or assist your career. And so they meant a lot for me, and that's why I give a lot of seminars. And so once I got some knowledge, because you don't get it overnight, I came up with, after the girls lost on Star Search, and then we came back and made changes then in the group. One of the ladies was a dancer, and then she became one of the members, and one of the members left, and we had to replace her. And then we signed to Darryl Simmons, who was partners with L.A. Reid and Babyface in Atlanta. And these guys had this competitiveness. L.A. had a girls group. I bet you don't know who his lead singer was.
No.
Pink.
Oh.
She's the exact same age as Beyonce, and there used to be this battle which group was better. And you had Usher. He was the same age. They were all 14 and 15 years old, living in Atlanta. And that's when Darryl got a production deal with Elektra Records, and that deal went south, and the girls got dropped. Then that's when I really got engaged in it, looking for record deals, and a lot of people passed on them. A lot of folks passed.
And they were Destiny's Child at that time?
They were Cliche and Something Fresh. So see, they went from Girls' Time to the Dolls to Cliche to Something Fresh to Destiny.
Oh, the name was Something
Wow,
Fresh.
there's a-
Yes.
I thought you couldn't remember the name. It was like Something Fresh.
Something Fresh.
Something Fresh. Wow.
Yeah.
All
Those
these
are some bad
changes.
names, man.
Now, how did the Destiny's Child name come about?
Well, we named Destiny initially.
Okay.
When they signed to Columbia Records. But there's a girl group in Mississippi, a gospel group, that's named Destiny. And so I
Sure
had
you want
to
to say that? They'd be quick to file a lawsuit.
No,
Well, that's
the
why they
name.
changed it.
Oh, okay.
Is he on the short bus?
Yeah, he's
Yes,
definitely
I
on the
am.
show. But
That's politically incorrect to say. I could be
Are you on the
intellectually
short
disabled.
bus?
I'm intellectually disabled.
Well, it's because you're short.
Stop teasing handicapped people, Mrs. Knowles.
he doesn't have it all. So go ahead. So you decided Destiny's Child.
Yeah, so I had to change the name, and I came up with Destiny's Child.
I always hear the story about how Wyclef saw them at Columbia in the elevator and decided to get on the remix. Like, how did that happen when finally Destiny's Child, after all these different changes, different group names, different labels, finally just caught on?
Yeah, well, the album was completed. And then we did see the girls actually did a tour with Wyclef. So it wasn't like it was the first time him seeing them.
Right.
That's why we have to be careful all this stuff we read, right? Because most of it is Jedi mind trick. But what really happened there is we had done this. The girls did his tour. He was in Houston promoting his album, and I asked him would he do the remix because we had No. The ballad was the single at first that was going to be the single, and Wyclef said, yeah, man, next day I'll do the single, man. And so he got there at the studio about 11, and his flight was at 1:30.
Wow.
And he was supposed to have been
Pushing
there
it.
at 7. But Wyclef is not going to be there at 7, right? So Beyonce was a little upset, and she says, boy, you want to love you? Da, 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 da. He was like, do that. That was some hot. But she was
I thought you were speaking Creole. I thought you meant like Beyonce cursed about in Creole. So.
and he was like, and she went, boy, I want to love her, you want to love her? And that's where she started that fast singing.
Right.
And it just happened just
Because
like
she had an
that.
attitude.
Because she had an attitude because he was late.
Wow. Now, you were control of the group. So when members left and members came, that was all your decision.
It was a team decision. But yes, I was the person at the head of the table, you could say.
Now, you talk about, a lot of things in the media, you got to watch what you read because it's a lot of Jedi mind tricks. They've been really painting you in a bad light the past couple of years.
No, how about 64, 3, how about 50 years?
50? 50 years?
How about 50 years?
Like recently they said you were charging people, now you're charging $200 to create the next Beyonce?
Well, no. Someone came up with the name, the next Beyonce, or the Beyonce Boot Camp, which is not what it is. It's a seminar that I give.
Okay.
Now,
The entertainment industry. How do I get in?
Yeah, the entertainment industry. How do I get in? I gave this same seminar in Houston almost a year ago. You can go to mtv.com. There's a whole review of it. That's a pretty good review. But I go all over the world giving seminars. I've taught at Texas Southern University for 8 years. There's a degree program that I was part of, call it ERM, Entertainment Recording Management. I teach artist management. I teach intro to the recording industry in the School of Business. I teach entrepreneurship. Just recently got my master's degree. I'm an educator. I charge you, when you come to my class, you don't go to my class for free. You pay $1,500 to take my class.
See, they made it sound like you was $200 and you telling people they could be the next
That's
Beyonce.
because we sell advertising.
Got you.
And we do this thing called search engine optimization. Y'all all know what that is, right?
Yeah. I mean, your consultation shouldn't be free. I mean, you got a great resume.
It's not free.
Yeah.
I'm charging you for right now.
But you also have I guess they make you out to be a player. They say you had a stripper pregnant in Houston.
Yeah. We're not going to talk about that. We're going to stay on the business side. My thing is motivating and educating. That's what I do, and that's what I've done all my life: motivate and educate.
Now, when Destiny's Child decided, I don't even know if this is true, when they decided to part from you, did they decide to part from you, or You're still the owner and
I'm
runner of.
still the manager of Destiny's Child, and I own the trademark.
Okay, so that's yours. No, anytime Destiny Child, any award show, anytime a record is played, you get PC.
PC, piece of it?
Yes.
Piece of it.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't work like that.
Mm-hmm.
From a branding and trademark perspective, whenever there's a tour, whenever the outside of the music, but I do own the trademark, and I personally have written some of the songs. I'm a
Really?
co-writer of Survivor, so there's publishing that I also receive for some of the records, like I do with all of my artists. You know, we were fortunate to also build a #1 gospel label in the country with Leandria Johnson, and I don't know how much you know, Brian Courtney Wilson. Leandra was the #1 female gospel artist in 2013. Trinity 5-7 is the #1 female trio of all time. I have a country label: Billy Joe Shaver, Trent Willman, McMurtry, Katie Campbell, Susie Bogus, people you don't know. Last Earth, Wind, and Fire album was done on my label.
Oh, wow.
The last OJ's album was done on my label. Shaka Khan and the London Symphony. So
You're getting money, man.
a lot of
Why
it
they
out
are
there,
trying to paint
boy.
you out to be broke?
Well, you know, I don't care about that.
Yeah.
I don't care about that. When you're 63 years old, do I care about what a 24-year-old think about? Think about this. When you're 63, do you care about what a 23-year-old say?
I hope I'm not.
I hope you don't either. You would be one jacked up brother if you
I
cared
agree.
at 63 what young people say.
Does it bother you though? Because you are old and you got this new age.
Nah,
of
don't
social
call me
media.
old, nah.
They're older.
This boy done called me old
I
up
said
in here.
older.
He done called me old up in here.
You might got to whoop his ass.
We might do.
But you see all this. You see social media. And you're like, now what is that?
I don't even read social media, man.
Yeah.
I'm too busy reading books, preparing for class, writing my own book. See, I live a different lifestyle. I'm an intellectual brother, if you could spend some time with me. I think you get a sense of that.
Mm-hmm.
I think you get a sense of what you read, and now that you're sitting in a room with me, that I'm a totally different brother. I like to be the smartest person in the room.
All right.
Now with Beyonce, do you still manage Beyonce?
No.
No. And what happened with that?
I think the same thing with her mother. She with her mom wanted to have someone else to style her, and with me, she wanted to have someone not else to manage her. She wanted to run her own business. We taught our kids, both Solange and Beyonce, entrepreneurship. They grew up in an entrepreneurship household, and I don't know about you, but I know I sure didn't want to be around my parents as I got older.
Hell no.
So I don't know why that comes as any surprise to anyone. At 30 years old, you a grown-ass woman, you want to do your stuff yourself. I'm happy that most of her team worked for me, and I trained them. From her GM to a road manager to a finance people, they all were part of my team, and she took that team, and that's who's working for her. And they do an exceptional job, and I'm proud of what she's done as a business owner and what Solange has done as a business owner.
Are you close to your daughters?
Yes, I am.
Now?
Yeah.
Because, you know,
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but, you know, when we look at social media and we look at a wedding or something, they never show your picture. They'll show every other family picture, but we never see Mathew Knowles.
Maybe he
there.
know how to get out the way.
You know, actually, you're right. Actually, for years, I don't need to be in a photo. That's not my role. My role as a manager is not to be in front, but to be behind and make sure everything else goes right. So, you know, most of the time, I never want to be up front. Now I do it more. I have this book coming out. I'm doing seminars, expanding my education. There'll be online modules of education and entrepreneurship, because I do teach entrepreneurship as well.
Now they say you were doing a Destiny Child's yard sale.
Yeah, I have a block in downtown Houston, a block, 62,500 square feet.
That don't sound like a yard to me.
Yeah.
It's a little bigger than a yard.
And we do have 4 buildings and venues. I have state-of-the-art recording studios, and then House of Darrion is a media center, is a venue. Rice Mansion is a venue. And then we have this thing called Carriage House that we keep a bunch of supplies and stuff when you have parties and stuff. And there's a lot of old stuff collecting over the years. And someone of my staff for a holiday said, what if we sell this stuff for a bonus? And I was like, we need to get some of that junk out of there. And that's what happened.
All right.
I wish look, brother, if I was going to sell something, I sell my watch first. I sell this really nice jacket.
Samuel's home.
I sell these right here. Okay. Louis Vuittons.
All right, Stunner.
You know,
I see you playing.
Yeah, I am. So, glad you recognize, brother. But nobody's gonna sell a $5 T-shirt. I mean, that's what. Again, a kid would believe that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
A grown ass man would be like, that's crazy.
Now, is this Destiny's Child biopic really happening?
I hope so. That I am working on.
You don't think it's too early?
No, I don't think it's too early. I don't. I think they have so much because they started so early in life. I mean, this goes back to 8 years old, and now we're talking 34. That's a lot of material, and I talk about this in my book, the 10 traits of highly successful people, the DNA of achievers. So I'm gonna take y'all back to the book because I teach media training, and I taught the girls media training. Is you always bring them back, roll them back in to the book, The DNA of Achievers, coming out today.
No, you can tell he's good because even when I brought up the strip in Houston, he was like, we're not going to talk about that. Let's talk about me being a motivator and educator.
There you go. So the book that comes out today.
The book that comes out today, and you can go to Amazon.com and The DNA of Achievers. Really excited about this book. I put my heart and soul in it. It's my first book. It's like making that first album. And it took a little longer than I wanted, but I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. I've got such great feedback, and I have 30 of my friends in the book.
Wow.
Tommy Mottola wrote the foreword. That's for anyone that's want to get gangster on me. I'll just give him a call. But it's a great book. You missed that joke, man. Y'all look so damn.
We just don't believe Mottola's gangster. That's all.
Tommy Mottola's pretty gangster.
You said that. What's your name again?
Charlamagne.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I got shooters.
All right.
I read David Geffen's biography, so we know all about Tommy Mottola.
You said that. I didn't. But yeah, I have a lot of good friends in this book. A lot of good friends from chairmen of major corporations all over.
Now, let me ask you something. Do you ever feel like being a father and pushing your child, because I'm sure
never did.
Because I'm sure there's times when they're tired.
Never did that.
You never with a Joe Jackson type?
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
No.
Because there has to be times when your child is disappointed, like not winning Star Search. I'm sure that's a huge disappointment, and I'm sure as a child, there's times that you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. I don't know if I want to do this anymore, blah, blah, blah. How do you respond to that? And how do you know when you're like, okay, maybe it's too much, I should tell her to take some time? How do you determine
That's a really good question. And it goes back to what's in the book. It started out with passion. When we live our passion, we never work a day in our lives. And I've never had to, anything with Beyonce, it's like, hey, enough, let's stop. Because she's that person that wants to get it right, make it perfect. Let's do it again. We can do it better. She exemplifies exactly what this book is all about. But I never push my kids. I think parenting is about surrounding your kids with the opportunities that will help whatever they are passionate about. Key word here again is passion. And when you are passionate, you don't have to push people. I always say to parents, the day I have to tell a child to go to practice, they're not passionate about it.
Right.
Now, let me ask you a question. Now, I have 2 daughters. Charlamagne has 2 daughters. Now, the first time Beyonce brought home Jay-Z, what was your mindset? Because it's not the Jay-Z that we know of now. At this time, this was big pimpin' Jay-Z. This was ain't no Jay-Z. This was player Jay-Z.
It wasn't ain't no Jay-Z. That was 96.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Before all that, though.
Yeah, I mean, I just looked at him as a man. I didn't look at him from he's a rapper perspective. I just looked at him as a man, a young man that my daughter is in love with. And if she's happy, I'm ecstatic.
You didn't have that talk with him? Like, look, man.
If she's happy, I'm ecstatic. And we keep it moving.
When you saw the elevator fight, did you say, I taught Solange how to throw them hands like that?
I thought it was a great Jedi mind trick.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like you Jedi mind tricking me now.
Right.
I'm like, what?
Now, with your the
This
class,
guy's good.
He's real good. He told us he's telling me he's good.
now with your
People forget that. You know, it's amazing to me.
media, he does media training, so he
That's
knows.
good, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'll sit and talk with anybody. You're not going to rattle me. You're not going to get me emotional. I'm going to have fun with it.
Okay.
Now, with
okay,
your- with your
hold on, I
seminar-
got this one. Just want to make get him.
No,
Right.
I'm already not going to answer that.
How
So
did it
you
feel-
were saying,
how
young
did it feel to
lady,
see Tina Knowles get married?
you were saying, ma'am.
Now, with your seminar, being that you said you don't really pay attention to social media and things like that, how important is that? Is that something that you actually dive into when you do your seminar, being that you're not really connected as far as social media?
You know,
How important is that?
I have to, because a major launch I'm coming up with online for education, I have to get more connected to social media, and I will in a strategic type of way.
Yeah, because they'll go at you on social media.
Yeah, in a strategic type of way. Because I actually teach the impact of social media and entertainment, one of my modules in class at Texas Southern. But, you know, social media is something that is here. It's a tool. It can be a poor tool. An example of a poor tool, I saw just last night, some fool was drunk and thought she would get
Periscope.
Oh,
on
yeah,
Periscope.
yeah, absolutely.
How stupid can you be? Because the police, this whole departments now, that's all they do is social media. They what it was 9 out of 8 people they catch just on social media. But it's a tool that's necessary, and in the music industry and entertainment, we have to be able to know how to maximize it.
How many times do you have to tell artists you're not Beyonce? Because they probably come to you like, I want a career like Beyonce. You have to say, you're not Beyonce.
A good point. We already have Michael Jackson. We had Michael Jackson, and we have Beyonce. The industry is looking for you, and what in you is different. That's what we're looking. We're looking for the next blank, not the next Beyonce. We have that.
Can you make someone a great talent, or do you have to be born with it, you think? Have you ever had people come to you that...
You can develop talent, but you can't develop star.
Can't make a star.
You can't develop a maker star. I mean, a star comes to that room, they might not even be able to sing. But it's something about some people that radiates to such a high level, and it's that inner confidence that they have in themselves. It starts there. Yeah. Next.
Destiny Child reunion, will it happen?
Yeah, you know, obviously one day that's going to happen. That would be.
I mean, one day
almost-
soon, or not when it's 50.
Well, we hope. We don't want to see them doing some of those dances at 50, do we?
No.
No, I know I don't. I know I sure don't want to see some of them at 50. So I hope it's in the next 3 days.
Wow. They age good. Tina's beautiful. Beyonce going to age good.
Yeah, but 50, you got to be in shape.
Tina's in shape. Come on now. Nah, Matthew, you better stop right now.
50.
She is amazing.
50, you have to be in shape.
Okay.
And he's trying to move into his next question.
There you go.
Because he did this earlier, and I ignored him. So, he's still on the Tina tip, who is a really good friend of mine and love her dearly. So that's enough of that.
Now back to Destiny's
You
Child.
are really good.
Yeah,
Back to Destiny's Child. So have they been talking?
let me
talks?
no. Before I came into this room,
Yes, sir.
you had one impression of me, didn't you? Do you
Yeah, I
have
did.
that?
I thought,
did
like-
you have that same impression now?
No, I don't. I felt like it's a bit of righteousness and rashness because I've seen your work with Destiny's Child, and you always seem like a good, well-spoken brother. But then, I never believe anything I see in the media. That's why I ask questions. So when I see the things about the strippers in Houston, all the girls you allegedly messed with, I want to ask the question.
Yeah,
You know?
you already asked it in your comment, and you got it out. But let's talk about it. Have you ever thought about what I've accomplished in the music industry? Having in the Billboard of the decade from 2000 to 2009, the top 10 artists in a decade, 20% of them I managed.
Really?
In a decade.
See, I never knew that.
No, most people don't. Most people don't know these things.
But it's not you're not out there like Diddy or
I'm not out.
any of the other moguls.
Do you know I I've had more #1 records than Beyonce has.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
So if you look at my gospel label and my other labels, it's more #1 records than Beyonce.
Is that in the book?
It's in the book that's coming out.
Gotcha.
The next book. Did you know that I once managed Knowles?
No.
I actually saw that on
His
here, yeah.
only #1 record he's ever gotten in his career, I was his manager.
Which
for.
was what?
Stillmatic, was it?
Which was the #1
Stillmatic.
record? Stillmatic?
Yeah.
Wow.
That
that
was
was the
his
one that had
last.
East on it.
That was his last album at Columbia
Wow.
before he went over to Def Jam.
And what happened with you and Nas?
It was a thing about finance where I wanted 20% commission and he wanted to offer 15. I couldn't change on that because my daughter's was 20, and I couldn't look at them and give somebody anything less. And I would never do that.
Now, do you want credit?
No, I think as I get older, I think it's important that people understand and realize the very impactful things I've done in the music industry. I mean, I've come up with some marketing plans that people actually at other labels say, hey, I want to do the Beyonce plan. You know, the plan with coming up with 2 singles at the same time. There was a time people didn't do that. Or putting a remix on an album. In the 90s, nobody was doing that, putting a remix on the album. We used a remix to extend radio play. No, No, No was one of the first, if the first, to be put on an album. Or to understand international and how to, all of my artists have sold more albums outside of America. Outside of America is an incredible place, Europe and Japan, and focusing on Europe and Japan. So, there's some things that I've done that I'm very extremely proud of. The partnership I had with BET and Sunday Best, the partnership I had for 6 years with the Essence Music Festival, and the branding. I've done 18 major branding deals from American Express to Pepsi to L'Oreal, and I can go on and on. These things have never been done before in the music industry.
So legacy outside of Destiny's Child is important for you.
It is now at 63, soon to be 64, but it does sadden me because people don't know that. And why wouldn't I be giving seminars? If I am a college professor of 10 years and people pay me to come to my class, why wouldn't I be giving seminars?
Absolutely.
And I do it also because it's 99% failure rate in the music industry. And the industry needs help, and artists needs help, managers, producers, songwriters, to understand how to get into this industry. This is for people that want to get in, not for people that's already in.
I mean, you're not doing anything that other executives haven't done. I mean, Diddy's doing the Revolt Music Conference this weekend, and he's holding seminars and stuff.
Well, but again, SEO, I have to put Beyonce in a title so that I can get search engine optimization, and I can get numbers so that I can sell advertising.
Does that bother her when you do that or no?
Bother her?
Yes.
No, she's just like me, man. No.
She doesn't care. Now, what about your grandkids? Would you want your grandkids to jump in the music industry?
If they're passionate about it, I support it totally. Totally. And, who knows? Who knows? Never know.
Now, you're smart enough to know, are you doing the media tour now, not just because of the book, but because of all the negative press that was out there? Like, let me show them me.
No, I'm doing a media tour for the book, The DNA of Achievers, that comes out today. And then next week, I have another seminar, the entertainment industry, how to get in Houston. And you can go to eventbrite.com to get more information. On the 14th of November, and this is iHeart, and it's a test model with iHeart in Macon, Georgia. I do the same seminar, the entertainment industry, and hopefully their success, and we might be doing a number of iHeart seminars. I'm also on the 22nd in D.C. I'm scheduled in Rochester, New York. I mean, I have over 30 dates already booked. On the education, my role is to educate and motivate. Right. That's what I do. That's what I'm passionate about doing, educating and motivating.
One of the main things that people always ask me is, how do I get a deal? How do I get signed? How do I get my music heard? People ask me that all the time.
That's what these seminars are about, right, is to educate people on just that. Because folks don't know, and they spend thousands of dollars in 3 to 5 years of their life trying to get in this industry, and it doesn't happen. And I want in some way educate people on how to do it better, to be more effective, to think outside of the box with it. What makes you different? It goes back to, I would never do a seminar on Beyonce. We don't want that. We want someone to be different.
Mm-hmm.
What makes you different? What other skills do you bring to the table? How hard do you practice and work? I talk to people, they say, I practice 2 hours, 2 days. That's not going to get it.
Right.
This is a 7-day-a-week thing. And
How important do you think looks are?
imaging is critical. Imaging is critical for women. Not as critical for men. Style is, but imaging is critical for women. I don't make the rules, but those are the rules.
Now with the group, how do you manage so many different members? Like you look at the Breakfast Club, you can tell that he is the ass.
First of all, I am not an ass.
And you can tell that, he's the sensitive one. But
you the sensitive one. What are you
Wait,
talking
I'm
about?
sensitive?
You see?
No, you're pointing at me. This guy is
You see?
I'll play you some audio of him crying.
Oh, right.
Okay, on the radio.
Now, question is when you
I was sitting here looking at your 3 personalities, and you're obviously the leader.
No, he's not.
No, he is.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
Now with that being
No, he's
said,
not.
Now with that,
Yes, he is.
That's Michelle.
No, this guy is the leader.
He's the Michelle. I'm kidding. Now, how do you deal with that?
I want everybody to get along.
That's her.
That's her.
No, that is her.
That's
Absolutely.
Her. And this is insecurity.
Oh,
Well, let's talk about it, player.
insecurity's
Why
child.
am I insecure?
So let's go back into your childhood.
Okay.
There you go.
Tell me a little bit about you.
My mother was an English teacher. Father did construction. I was always cool in school. Like, I never had problems in school growing up. So what do you mean insecurity?
Your childhood is not necessarily about just school, right?
Okay.
So were you the only child?
No, I got four, 2 brothers, 2 sisters.
He might be the shortest one though.
No, I'm not the shortest one. 2 brothers, 2 sisters. Come on, tell me some more.
We'll get back to you.
Mm-hmm.
Ask him what his relationship is like with his brothers and
we
sisters.
haven't finished with you yet. See, there's something in your eyes that give away
Sadness.
something. It
Well, I
does.
can say
It
the
does
same
give
thing
away.
about you.
It
I
does
can
give
say
away
sadness and
sadness,
hurt.
doesn't it?
Well, I
Yeah.
can say the same thing about you. I can say that the whole educated, motivated thing is a front.
Oh, you think that's a front?
I could
Me
say that.
teaching for 10 years is a front.
No, I think that all the I think all the negative allegations you've had over the past couple of years of being a cheater and Beyonce and Kelly firing you and you being no good to your wife, I think you could be in here fronting.
Yeah, that's your opinion. We're in America, aren't we?
True indeed. Just like you think I'm insecure, that's my opinion. Yeah.
Well, that's your opinion. Anything else?
No, unless you want to keep diagnosing me, we can keep diagnosing each other.
Well, you know what? You don't have enough of my time to do that.
Oh, I feel you.
Yeah, thank
My
you.
brother, I hear him.
So we're here talking about the DNA of achievers.
The book that's out right now, and you can pick that up from anywhere, online, Amazon, and of course your local bookstore. And we really appreciate you for joining us. I was going to ask, we're dealing with the group. There's who is the most devious or the hardest to work with in the group Destiny's Child? Who is the most difficult?
There are no divas in the group Destiny's Child. It's simply not. Everybody's a team. That's one of the traits we talk about in DNA of Achievers is team, building a team. They truly represent a team where everyone knows their role and they bought into their role. And it's all about teamwork. And they're passionate about what they do. So there's no divas in Destiny's Child at all. At all.
Okay.
I always wanted to ask you too about Solange. Like, why do you think she never achieved the success Beyonce had? Because she's very talented.
You know what? One has to ask the question: define success, because and DNA of Achievers talk about this. When I'm passionate about something, and I have the opportunity to do what I love, that is the highest success that one could have. One other person might say, I want to sell hundreds of millions of records. Another artist might say, I want to have the creative artistry that my fans enjoy my artistry. And if I sell 100 records, it's really not about that for me. And so I don't look at it that way. And as an executive who's had many artists, it's not always about number of records that defines success. Success can be defined in so many different ways. And I think we have to look at that, and we have to caution ourselves by saying that numbers always is success. That's the same. You guys hear it all the time. Some people don't make the same amount of money, but they're happy.
Right.
And so the dollar doesn't make you, happy.
She seems like she loves DJing.
She loves DJing.
And then
she's passionate about
she
it.
is definitely a fashion icon that we all look to say, oh, you see what Solange had on?
Yeah,
I love that outfit.
and that's
And don't forget her wedding picture. That kind of broke the internet when Solange got married, and that picture that she had of everybody in all white. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I have it on my wall.
Yeah.
I think for me with Solange, what I really like is she's the creative director and artistic director for the shoe line. What's the shoe line?
Puma.
Okay. Yeah, Puma. She's the worldwide artistic director for Puma. For females. That's big.
Right.
That's big. So I love Solange. Solange, she walks to a different drum, and she's not rattled by trying to make somebody else happy on what they think she should be. And I actually love people like that. I
Absolutely.
love people like that.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you joining us again.
Thank
the book
you.
is out today. DNA of Achievers. Is that the name of the book?
DNA of Achievers.
All right. Well, we
Is
appreciate
it one
you
place
giving-
people can go to, like a
I
web?
got to get back to my.
Okay,
my
man.
Let's
Break
do
down,
it. Let's
break
go.
Oh gosh.
I enjoy
Let's
it.
talk about it. Let's go.
No, I'm done with you. You make an appointment to see me.
Now you're charging $5,000.
Yeah.
1,500.
1,500.
Thank you.
My brother.
All right. It's
Yes, sir.
Mathew Knowles. It's the Breakfast Club.